Forbes' real-time snapshot placed Michael Dell in the global top 5, driven by Dell Technologies and the AI infrastructure boom. This episode is not about admiring money for its own sake. It is a business case study. How the fortune was built, what assets drive it, what setbacks shaped it, and what a normal viewer can actually learn from it. Michael Dell's story begins with a direct question. Why should a customer buy a standard computer through a store if a company could configure it directly for them? From a University of Texas dorm room, Dell started selling custom PCs. That direct model gave him two advantages. He could understand demand before competitors, and he could run leaner because he was not dependent on the same retail channels. The company grew into a global PC giant, but the real story is reinvention. Dell went public, went private with Silver Lake, bought EMC in a huge enterprise technology deal, spun off VMware, and returned to public markets through a complicated restructuring. The latest surge came because artificial intelligence needs infrastructure. AI software may get the headlines, but companies still need servers, storage, networking, and hardware systems. Dell was positioned to sell into that demand. The setbacks are part of the case study. PCs became commoditized. Big deals created debt. Investors questioned whether old hardware companies could stay relevant. Dell's answer was to keep moving closer to enterprise infrastructure. The public lesson is adaptability. Listen closely to customers, build operational muscle, and change the model before the old model traps you. The major business and asset map is Dell Technologies, EMC, VMware proceeds, AI servers, DFO management. The publicly documented lifestyle angle is Austin residence, family philanthropy, and a major public pledge with his wife to seed investment accounts for children. The main work principles are customer feedback, operational discipline, reinvention, direct business models. The main setbacks and risks are PC commoditization, high debt restructuring, complex EMC integration, market skepticism. Now look at the fortune like an editor reading a balance sheet. The headline number is dramatic, but the mechanism matters more. Michael Dell's wealth is not sitting mostly as cash in a bank account. It is tied to ownership, market valuation, private company estimates, and assets that move as investors reassess the future. That means the fortune can change quickly, sometimes by billions in a day, without the person buying or selling anything. That is why the asset engine matters. In this case, the main map is Dell Technologies, EMC, VMware proceeds, AI servers, DFO management. Each asset tells a different part of the story. Some create operating profit. Some create strategic control. Some create optionality, meaning they may not be the biggest source of wealth today, but they could matter more if the market shifts. There is also a timing lesson. Huge fortunes usually come from being early to a structural change and then staying exposed to it for a long time. The change might be electric transportation, search advertising, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, enterprise software, social networking, sports franchises, or global retail logistics. The public often sees the famous person after the outcome is obvious. The wealth was usually created years earlier, when the bet still looked uncertain. This is where the business map matters. The companies, products, and ownership stakes explain far more than the headline ranking. Viewers should understand the difference between salary, revenue, profit, ownership, and net worth. A billionaire ranking is not the same thing as cash. It is a mark-to-market estimate of claims on businesses and assets. The habit pattern is also worth separating from the mythology. The useful principles here are customer feedback, operational discipline, reinvention, direct business models. These are not magic personality traits. They are repeatable work behaviors, choosing a hard problem, staying close to the product, using feedback, hiring strong people, managing risk, and making decisions with a longer time horizon than the average competitor. The lifestyle section should stay disciplined. The publicly documented angle is Austin residence, family philanthropy, and a major public pledge with his wife to seed investment accounts for children. This belongs in the story because viewers expect it, but it should not become the story. The editorial framing is simple. Lifestyle shows what extreme wealth can buy, while the business engine shows how the wealth was created. The setback section is where the episode earns trust. The known risks and reversals include PC commoditization, high debt restructuring, complex EMC integration, market skepticism. These moments matter because wealth stories become misleading when they only show victories. Every empire has pressure points: regulation, execution, public trust, changing technology, debt, competition, succession, or consumer backlash. For ordinary viewers, the lesson is not to imitate billionaire behavior out of context. Most people cannot copy the capital base, access, timing, or tolerance for loss. But they can copy the clearer habits, learn a valuable skill, understand how money flows through a business, build or own productive assets, avoid lifestyle inflation too early, and think in years rather than days. The final beat should be practical, not worshipful. Ask, what did this person understand before most people did? What asset did they own while that insight became obvious to the world? What risk almost broke the story? And what is the smaller version of that lesson that a normal person can actually use? The practical lesson is clear. Wealth at this scale usually comes from ownership in a compounding asset. The viewer does not need billions to use the lesson. They need sharper judgment, useful skills, better risk control, and the patience to build or own things that become more valuable over time.